Okay, I'm live today. I'm Tanya Smith, for those of you who don't know me. Pretty sure most people watching probably do. But today I'm here with Rena McGill, and I'm so excited because we haven't talked for a while. I feel like 2020 just kind of passed by, and I didn't see any of my friends for a while. So, but Rena and I met at NABO, which is the National Association of Women Business Owners, and it's a great organization for women in business. And I helped her with some videos. We were both applied for a grant that neither of us got, but but yeah, I helped her with that, and then just had fun getting to know her and see her business kind of morph through the years. So I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Corlinc.
Yeah, sure, you bet. Happy to be here. This woman that is doing the interview is an amazing branding expert. I love how no matter where she shows up, she's sticking to that. She's sticking to that brand. It's, her by her colors, by her language, or everything. So it's an honor. And then I wanted to tell you all about something that's really important to me, and the reason that Corelink started is because when you're a small brand, the very first thing you have to do is figure out what your why is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to discover that purpose, that cause, that driving force. That's the one thing that brings tears to your eyes. It has to be that powerful. But you can wake up in the middle of the night, you can have this great idea, and it's the one thing that drives you out of bed every single morning. But how do you take it from ideation to how you're going to accomplish that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it's all about us differentiating ourselves. And then I'm a huge believer in servant leadership. Mm-hmm. So when you serve from the heart, when you give to your customers, when you actually believe in your mission and vision and how it's going to positively impact them, that's really a great how. And then the final piece of that is what? I mean, what are you going to do to get there? What's your regular practice? For Corelink, for us, it's been delivering ever expanding resources and tools, because for us, our customer is everything. How do we make them feel? Do we care and support for them? And the answer of that is yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of who we are.
Yeah. So how do you help your customers achieve those things? Like tell me a little bit about the products and services that Corelink is. For anyone who wanted to maybe use it, tell us what would you use and create with Corelink?
Well, it had two facets, and now we've just added a third one. So the foundation of Corelink was a marketing tool for micro brands, small brands, mm-hmm. who need access to a simple and affordable vehicle to better connect with their customers and grow engaging relationships. Mm-hmm. So that was how we all started. We created a simple and affordable tool that helps you drive deeper customer relationships, build brand loyalty, mm-hmm. connect with them in the same place that you interact, and then monetize. A story I love to tell that most people, we're so conditioned to do business on Facebook, mm-hmm. and we get to think that it's the end all be all. Mm-hmm. And the reality is it's a great place to put your fishing line. Mm-hmm. But your content becomes buried within a couple of hours. Right. Your competitors create lookalike audience ads, mm-hmm. that allow them to fish in your pond.
Right.
And you have disconnected e-commerce. Mm-hmm. And so what that creates is a fragmented brand experience. Mm-hmm. And there was some research done that when you have a fragmented brand experience marketing across multiple platforms, it hits your bottom line by about 11%. Hmm. And that 11% is very often the difference between success or failure for right. small brands, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the foundation of Corelink and why it was so important for us to do this. It was just $29.99 a month. right?
Yeah. And it's like a website, right? It's an
It
easy
is.
website you can build, and then you have links to all your social media,
Yes,
and you can have a forum like communities and also a cart, right? Like sell actual
exactly.
products on there. So it's like everything a small business would need to put all of their eggs in one basket where their clients can consume it, right? That's how I understand it.
Exactly. And what we've recently done is aggregated your social media feeds so that you truly do have a unified brand experience in one location.
Oh, okay. So instead of like linking to your Facebook, it's just your feed
It just
right
all
there.
comes in together.
Oh, cool. That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah. So we love that. We love what it can do. You know, one of the things we say is whether you need an affordable online solution or you have an existing website that could benefit from greater engagement,
Hmm.
adding the community to it. Maybe you need a store. Maybe you do want to unify your social feeds. Maybe
Hmm.
you want to various feature sets, right, that
Right.
we
Yeah.
offer that are more than the website,
Hmm.
unless you want to spend,
Yeah.
a
Or
lot of
you could
money.
use it as your website, right?
Exactly. It can
Um,
stand alone.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's one of
There's
the,
a question here.
yeah,
This
of
let me
course.
pull it up here. So does
Yeah,
Corelink site not compete with one's own site's SEO? I would think it would just be contribute to your SEO, right? Like
it does. It
another link
absolutely
to
does.
would actually help you.
Yeah, we had a use case with a large nonprofit, and they, by utilizing it over just a 90-day period for an annual event, they increased their revenue by 30%. And
Wow.
what we saw is because they'd been using a WordPress site previously, and their content was, I think, number 5 or 6 in Google. By the
Hmm.
end of that 90-day period, because they were using social as the fishing
Right.
line and engaging and selling in the community, they rose to the number one spot on
Hmm.
Google, which I thought
Cool.
was very interesting. So
Yeah.
yes, in answer to your question, it absolutely
It
does do
helps.
that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And then we have a few comments from Russell about, starting with the values that you explained. Let's see,
Yeah.
I'll put this up here. Um, Russell's a really awesome businessman. So,
Yeah, that's
and
great.
then he mentioned the 11% impact
Yeah.
for the lack of unified brand experience. So yeah, I think it's really valuable what you guys have created. So and then I've noticed too, you started adding more value for your customers with the Corelink University. So do you want to tell us about that? When did you start that?
So it was in response to the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We had always said the mission and vision of Corelink was to create ever expanding resources and tools,
Mm-hmm.
and that Corelink University would be an eventual part of that. Then the pandemic hit. And we said, if not now, when,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had no idea what that was going to look like, feel like. So I started interviewing influential industry leaders
Mm-hmm.
who had a lot to offer for small brands.
Right.
And after I got about 15 maybe interviews into it, it became apparent exactly how I was going to deliver education and mentorship to our audience members.
Cool.
So we launched Corelink University, and I'm very, very proud of what we're delivering because it is content for small brands. More
Mm-hmm.
importantly, it's free content for
Right.
small brands because your success is our success.
Mm-hmm.
We are here to serve. And that content, it's all free, 1 hour sessions
Mm-hmm.
from, uh, content experts in specific categories.
Right.
We're switching those up a little bit. We just recently added a gal who is focused on side gigs, right? Because
Okay.
we
Yeah.
got small brand stuff. And then after we got that rolling and started driving the content there in November, what I heard over and over again is, I had conversations with people about podcasting,
Mm-hmm.
but they were intimidated by the tech. They
Mm-hmm.
were intimidated by the process, being on screen, what that would look like, feel like, and frankly, the cost,
Yeah.
along with all of it. So suddenly it becomes this I'll get to it someday
Yeah.
process, right? And so I knew if we were going to deliver a solution, that solution had to be something that just handheld
Hmm.
small brands from the very beginning all the way through distribution.
Right.
And then I also knew that if we were going to do this, I had to have somebody who was like the cream of the crop as a partner.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so I did. We have partnered up with a podcast Hall of Famer. He was one of the originators of podcasting.
Wow.
And he is now, so my partner Taylor and myself are in Corlinc, and now we also own Podcast Easy.
Oh, cool. I love that name.
With Rob. And
Okay.
so it's Podcast EZ.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it will launch. So hey Tanya, this is the first public
Awesome.
mention of it.
Awesome. Cool.
We are launching by the 3rd week of May.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, I'm so excited because the program is designed to just make the process like butter.
Hmm.
Just like butter.
Cool.
And so that's a big part of, you asked me to talk about defining your target audience. And,
whatever. I'm like, we'll talk about whatever. But
yeah, whatever. but that's part of that, right?
Yeah.
Are
like looking at what your audience needs too, like
yeah. You can you build your business and you figure out, what your marketing strategy might look or feel like, right?
Mhm.
But are you reaching them on the mediums that they're hanging out?
Right.
And we already know that 80% of all content is going to be absorbed through video.
Mhm.
People are walking, they're working and listening to podcasts. That's why Clubhouse has become such a big deal lately,
Right.
because we're multitaskers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love to listen to podcasts while I'm driving or cleaning the house or something, because you don't have to read it or look at it, right? Like
that's right.
Listen in, and it's really become popular as a content that you can create, really affordably, actually. All you need is a microphone and a laptop.
Yeah.
Really. And then, like you said, the tech part, like, how do I launch this out into the
Exactly.
world? How do I make sure the sound is good? All those questions.
And distribution's a big deal. Distribution's a huge deal. Part of our program is we will distribute to 32 platforms.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm a huge proponent that you have to look at the trends. And the trends have said video's 80%. And then the podcast is a much broader audience that if you're not tapping into it, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, right.
And so for us, we believe that now we've given you a marketing tool with Corelink. We are educating you and providing you resources and tools through Corelink University. And now with Podcast Easy, we are giving you a broad scope tool to reach your customers and engage them, because, right, your customers want to hear, you want to make them the hero, not you the hero. Right.
Yeah, cool. So will they be able to host their podcasts on Corelink, like the episodes, or is it going to be a separate?
Right now, the podcasts will be hosted on an international platform to aggregate it. This is so new. I mean, it's literally, it's so new. What we'll be doing is eventually wrapping components of Corelink around podcasting. We'll definitely be dropping a player in Corelink.
Okay, cool.
And you'll also
bring out a player, I guess, just so people could go find your episodes.
Absolutely.
On your website.
And you'll drop your episodes into your Corelink video library.
Okay.
And then have the player in there. What I love about this is you'll now be able to wrap your Corelink community, which is your customer engagement, your blogging, your content all around this podcast. So suddenly you have a full community experience.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what will the process look like for creating the podcast with your, is it like a platform or is it an actual person that's helping you? Like,
it's an actual
what does it
person.
look like?
It's an
Okay.
You will. Okay, so there are going to be 3 packages. One will be sort of a starter package where it's you're coached, you're trained, you're guided, but it's a sort of a DIY package, right? And you get consulting every month, and it just walks you through the process. Then there's a middle package where, and in all of these, you will have a producer assigned to you.
Cool.
A real person.
Awesome. That's what I was wondering about. Like, because there's plenty of websites where you can go record your podcast, click a few buttons, and it will go, you know. But I think, like you said, it's still intimidating. Like, how do I start this? So
exactly. It literally walks you from creation to production through distribution, and it's just a monthly program.
Nice.
We just believe that when you have professional handheld guidance, you're going to have a better ROI on the product. Right.
Yeah. Oh, I totally believe that with WorkStory. You know, I'm not a photographer that just shows up and takes pictures of what's there. You know, I handhold my customers all the way through, because most businesses have never done a photo shoot before. Or if they did, they had a bad experience, you know, which just kind of breaks my heart. And same with brand development. You know, if you go to Fiverr and hire someone to create your logo for $5, it's likely not going to be an experience where you're diving deep into who is your target market and what do you want to communicate and that kind of stuff. So I love when it's full service to help you get the best result possible.
Well, and you've produced a couple of videos for us. And you're absolutely right. You've handheld, it was professional all the way, and we got great results.
Yeah. And I've further refined my video process since I worked with you.
Yeah.
Even now, you know, like I have actually hire a videographer to come and I just direct.
Oh, cool.
And so we've just kind of leveled it up even more since we worked with you. But I love that handholding. Let's see. Russell said again, I love how you listen to your audience, Rena. What a great way to create a product that people actually need.
Oh, thanks, Russell. That's very kind of you.
So talking a little more about target audience.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess yours from the very beginning was pretty defined, right? Like it's the micro business. And how did you guys decide you wanted to work with that size business? Like, did you have some kind of an experience where you saw the need for that? Or like, why is that?
Well,
I guess.
You know, it started with my foundation. I come from about 145 years worth of successful women entrepreneurs. And so it's been ingrained in me from day one that we can be more, we can do more, and that you accomplish that when others lift you up and support you. Right.
Yeah.
And so I happened to be in a Zumba class and there were probably 120 people in each class, and it was run by an instructor who I became friends with. And he said, you know, it kills me that there's no vehicle here for students to communicate, for me to sell my products, to make money in the vehicle, and to monetize and market, right? And I was like, I'll find that for you. I know it's out there, and it wasn't.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And so I just, you find a pain point,
right,
and you solve it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And that was the birth of Corelink and our mission and vision to help micro brands, small brands who just need that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And your partner, Taylor, is your son.
He is.
So how did you get him on board or decide to work together? And how has that been?
Well, I'll tell you, he grew up with a very strong woman as a model, like a whole family of strong women, right? So that's kind of who he is as a person. And I came home and I told him about my experiences with, looking for the software. And I said, I'd really like to build something. And he said, I'd love to be a part of that.
Cool.
Well, in another lifetime, he studied to do IT.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not like the zeros and ones, but he liked the business side of things. And so what's interesting is as we developed the software, as we hired a contract team, he was very instrumental in making sure that we were getting quality work.
Right.
Right? And he has a very wise, smart, analytical business mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes us a good team. We kind of divide our
Good.
territory and kind of go for it.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, sometimes you hear horror stories of, working with your family.
Yeah.
So I hired my virtual assistant this year, and she's my sister.
Gosh.
Yeah, she was just starting out in her business, and she's like, "Can I kind of like practice on you?" Like, and I was like, I was looking for a virtual assistant, so I was like, "Well, let's try it." See how it goes, and I'm loving it. Like, we work so well together, and she's just been so great. So, yeah, I think if you can work with your family, like, why not?
Yeah.
Have a family business, or just work with your family if you can. And get along. Sometimes it's not a good idea.
We've all had those experiences.
So anyway, that's cool. So talk to me about the branding of Corelink. Like, how did you guys come up with the look and feel, and how important has that been in the success of your business?
So, our branding colors were picked for us.
Mm-hmm.
We had a strategic partner who, was a Fortune 50 marketer. And so she's the one who helped us pick the name Corelink,
Cool.
because it's the core of your business.
Right.
And so the colors were also picked by her. That's why I'm such an advocate that having a branding professional on your team is critical.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to be the one who I need to slap my own hand because I have broken the branding principles with stuff. And so in the development of Podcast Easy, because it's a sister company, we're keeping half of the branding.
Oh, okay.
So the green color in Corlink is moving over to Podcast Easy.
Okay, cool.
And it's just a darker font color for the main name. So again, it's because I'm really trying to stay true to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I, don't break the barrier. It's how people recognize the font. They recognize the font, they recognize the color.
Yep.
And they associate it with you. Does it make them feel good? Is that a feel good color?
Yeah.
Like I said at the very beginning, every time I see you, your branding colors exist somewhere in the frame, right?
Yeah, color is really powerful, and I think it's like I've studied color theory, of course, just in my studies to be a graphic designer. And it's something people struggle with. And I notice small businesses, like, even if they have a nice logo, oftentimes, like, their social media graphics, their flyers, anything like that, it doesn't look cohesive because they haven't hired a designer or don't have any rules around how to use the elements of design. And so that's one thing I've actually been helping my clients with, is just go into their Canva account and like make a style guide. Like, here's the rules, you have to use these fonts and these colors and this style of photo, and then make some templates for them based on the different types of posts or graphics that they typically use. And then it's just all there for them. And then their VA or whoever is creating graphics for them looks cohesive. And that really takes your brand to the next level. Same with having custom photography. If photography is part of your marketing strategy and your branding strategy. So
it's all your image, right?
Yes.
All of that. You're telling a story.
Yeah. And so for me, that's the thing.
That's right. WorkStory.
Yeah, that's the thing for me, that I wake up in the middle of the night and thinking about that kind of stuff. For me, I'm like, how can I help small businesses look more professional in their brand? That's always been my mission and my why ever since I started working I worked with these international brands that already had that established, and we had to follow the rules. Like I remember HP's style guide is like a 500-page website, and they'd be like,
What?
"Here's the job, and you have to follow this part of the style guide for this product, and it's different for this other product." It's like so confusing.
Wow.
But for a small business, you just need a few rules.
Yeah.
Once you have those established and stick with them, people will start to recognize your brand. Like you said with me, I've always got a few things I always sprinkle in there, and people recognize me, at least here locally. So yeah. So anyway, I love that you guys knew that that was important and hired someone to help you, and have that in mind, especially as you add another product, right? That's something to keep in mind. Like, how is this going to be related? Do we want it to be, correlated or totally separate?
Yeah.
And even if you rebrand, I think it's important to keep some elements of your original brand so you don't totally alienate your audience. Like if it's totally different, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, who is this? I don't recognize them anymore.
Yeah, and that's not good. And
Right.
in our case, I think what we'll be doing is dropping a Corelink logo on, because it's a sister company.
Okay.
So you want that flow, right?
Yeah. Well, especially if you're going to be marketing to the same audience, you want them to know it's related, because you've already got that trust built up with your audience. So that's an important part of branding. So
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
Yeah. Cool. Well, is there anything else you want to share, or?
Okay. So I'd like to offer something.
Oh, sure. That'd be awesome.
Watching. I have, like I said, I'm a huge proponent of defining your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I offer members of Corelink, and I would like to offer to your group, is a define your target audience worksheet.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So if somebody is interested, they can drop it in your comments, and I'll be happy to message it to them.
Yeah. Or let's see. Let me see. Let me put what would be the best way for people to contact you that I could leave in the comments here, and we can put in because this is going to go on my blog and my.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So is there a link where people could contact you?
They can just email, which is to mktg.
Okay.
At Corlinc, CORLINC.com.
Okay. That's the target audience worksheet.
Yep, define your target audience.
Okay. So I'll put that in the comments, and then I'll just bring it up on here so people can see it really quick. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, that would be awesome. I think that's one of the biggest questions I get, because I have a coaching group for photographers, for branding photographers, and also small businesses here on Facebook. And that's one of the questions I get all the time. Like, how do I know who's my target audience? How do I narrow it down? And
I want people to be able to do that and just really think through the process, right?
Right. Well, it's an important part of developing your brand, even developing your pricing. Like, what you're going to charge is largely dependent on who you're selling.
Absolutely.
To, and the value that you have to offer them, and how much they want what you have to offer. How much you have to help them. So,
and maybe what you have to offer that they don't know that they need.
Yeah. And the way that you present that. So we've definitely got a few people saying they're interested. So later you could message them, or maybe they'll email you. So. And then Corlinc.com is there. So visit Corlinc.com to check out the platform. I think it's really cool. And I've been doing this thing called a brand storm with people. So
I like that.
Like if they're ready to take their brand to the next level, like maybe they've been DIYing stuff and now they're making a good revenue and they want to invest in their branding, but they're not sure where to start, or even their marketing. Like maybe they're confused. So we do this 1 to 2 hour interview. I ask them a ton of questions, and then I go back to my office and make a brief where I give them all my recommendations for what they should do. So I think Corelink could probably be something that some people might need that I could offer in that brief. And I'm excited to learn more about the podcasting thing too, because that's something people could probably use and I can't help them with. Like, at least not right at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to produce a podcast for you, but if I can direct you into the right, direction, that's part of a lot of what the brief is. Like, I can help you with these parts, but I also recommend these things. Go take a look at these over here. So that's really great. The people I've been doing it with have gotten so much clarity on the direction to go in their business, and it's super affordable. It's just kind of a foundational step for taking your brand to the next level in your marketing. So
yeah, it's a big deal. We'll be announcing Podcast Easy in the Corlinc University Facebook group, also on Corelink in Facebook.
Okay.
So people can look for it there. It's just, crossing our T's and dotting our I's so that it is smooth as butter.
Cool. I'm excited to hear about it. And you're on LinkedIn too, right?
I certainly am.
I love there a lot.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for joining me. And I'm excited to look into the Podcast Easy soon. And we'll be in touch. Are you coming to the Nabo scavenger hunt?
I'm not sure. I might be.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll see you there. So.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I will look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, hopefully sometime soon. So anyway, and if anyone else has questions for Rena when you're watching the replay or whatever, just put them in the comments and I'll make sure she sees them and can answer your questions. So thanks for joining me and have a great day.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tanya.
You're welcome.